Now it's my great pleasure to welcome the CEO of the Media, Entertainment and Arts Alliance, Paul Murphy.
Thanks, Jennifer, and good evening, everyone. I'd like to acknowledge and pay my respects to the traditional owners of the land we meet on tonight, the elders past and present of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. And at the outset, I'd like to congratulate the Melbourne Press Club for organising this evening. The annual Press Freedom Dinner in Sydney has become quite an event and an opportunity to highlight issues of concern in our profession and also to raise funds for a great cause. So it's wonderful to see this initiative tonight, and I hope that it's the first of many. This year has been a particularly tragic one for journalists. According to data collected by the International Federation of Journalists in Brussels, 80 journalists and media workers have been killed around the world so far this year, most of them deliberately targeted because of their work. And if one sad fact is known about these killings, it's this: no one will ever be held to account. Police investigations, if they commence, will be half-hearted. Any gunmen that are caught will never be compelled to reveal who ordered the killings. And if a case ever makes it to court, it's likely it will be bogged down for years in claims and counterclaims, because that's the reality of what happens. Journalists and media workers are killed with impunity. The Philippines is a tragic example on our doorstep. Since the overthrow of the Marcos regime in 1986, more than 170 journalists have been killed. The greatest single atrocity, the Ampatuan massacre in 2009, saw the murder of 32 journalists, and there is still not a single conviction in that matter. Unbelievably, there are still 84 suspects at large, including 41 police officers, but no one held to account. And the spate of killings in that country has not abated, with a further 40 journalists gunned down in the past 6 years. Impunity has spread across the Asia-Pacific in Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and Nepal. And of course, in Australia, we've had our own tragic experiences, as John so powerfully outlined earlier tonight, the tragedy of the killings in East Timor in 1975. 40 years later, and still not a single person held to account for those killings. We share the dismay at the failings of the AFP and our government over the years, and I'd like to assure you that we will absolutely continue to be part of the campaign for justice for those people, because to do anything less means that the killers are literally getting away with murder. Along with our partners in the International Federation of Journalists, human rights organisations and the journalist community all around the world, we constantly campaign for press freedom, and it appears to be work that never ends. Tonight, more than 200 journalists are in prison because of their work, because they dared to bring important stories to the attention of their communities. This week, of course, we were all overjoyed to see Peter Gresta's Al Jazeera colleagues, Mohammed Fahmy and Bahir Mohammed, finally freed from prison. But there is still the outstanding matter of a pardon for Peter for charges he should never have faced, and the other Al Jazeera journalists wrongly convicted in absentia, as well as many other Egyptian journalists still wrongly imprisoned. And in our own region, in the Asia-Pacific, we endeavour to provide practical support to journalists and their families. I'd like to talk a little now about what your generous attendance and donations are going to contribute to tonight. All funds raised go to the Media Safety and Solidarity Fund. This fund is an initiative of the MEAA, supported also by the New Zealand Journalists Union and the Japanese Broadcasters Union. It provides emergency assistance to journalists in danger in the Asia-Pacific region. That may include providing them with legal assistance or a safe haven if they are personally threatened. The fund also provides emergency aid to journalists and their families and media groups affected by natural disasters. Currently, the fund is assisting to help rebuild radio equipment and other infrastructure in Vanuatu after the destruction of Cyclone Pam, and in Nepal after the April earthquake. Importantly, the fund also supports the education of more than 100 children in the Asia-Pacific region, the children of our slain journalist colleagues. Your donations tonight will help fund their primary and secondary education, assisting them to get a decent start in life and bringing some justice to people who are all too often denied it. So thank you very much for your attendance, for your generous support, and have a great evening.